Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Taking Up Space, a Michelle A. Mayer podcast. Always excited about coming forward. A little tired. I've been busy today, but I had some products I had to make because I will be out in Leimert Park tomorrow. Y'all come join me. I will be posted up all day in Leimert Park tomorrow selling my beautifully abundant and nourishing skincare products. So I love to see you. And again, I'll be giving away some samples of my salt scrub, and I'll have some luxurious and densely nutritious and hydrating sugar scrub. So cleansers and all kinds of other goodies. So I look forward to seeing y'all there. But like I said, I'm a little tired. So yesterday, in the middle of my conversation, the phone died. So I had to take that as a sign, and I just let it go. And I want to resume today, speaking to what we were discussing yesterday. We were discussing the way we at times kind of get besides ourselves and not realizing that God sees every single thing we do. We get, like I said, lost in the repetition of life, and we think that no one sees us, no one knows, but we're fooling ourselves. If you yourself knows, friend, God knows. You see, it's an internal thing. It's as if there's a recorder recording every single thing you do in your life. Sometimes more than other times, but yes, something internally is recording you. And there are outward invisible forces that record as well. A lot of times, friends, I have found that it has been the people that I would normally overlook that have had the most impact in my life. It hasn't been that I had a sit down with any particular preacher or pastor or man of God in any type of church environment that sat me down and counseled me on how to overcome the problems that were plaguing me in my life. It has not been that any one of those people revealed to me mysteries of this life or the Bible. I just haven't had that luxury. I haven't had anyone in my inner circle that was that close to me that I was able to bump ideas off of, except for my uncle. And he did as much as he could. But even in my communications with him as a deacon in the church, he was limited to his perspective as well. I found that surely he had some strong perspectives, but he could only go so far. I have not met anyone within any religious environment that has uncovered any significant, like really, really meaty spiritual truths that I knew. But there have been people in my life, y'all, that I have come across in the most unassuming vessels that out of nowhere touched me deeply with profound spiritual perspectives. It was as if they touched me so deeply because maybe they showed up in the vessel that I didn't expect them to. But even then, for them to be able to reach me and to touch me at a heart level, they had to lay before me something that I was not able to get somewhere else. And a lot of times, most times that they did this, all the time that I've had this type of experience with these unassuming vessels, people we walk past, don't think nothing of. The things that they laid before me and presented to me were the answers to things that I have been pondering for many years. And they just offered them up as if they were nothing. As if they were just the tip of a monumental iceberg. They never said, I'm going to go pray for you. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. They were very limited in their interaction. They were not forthcoming. I've not met one that was extremely forthcoming and generous with information. Because that's the way in spirit. Nothing, I keep telling you, is given. Nothing. Even Jacob had to wrestle for it. Friend, nothing, absolutely nothing in this life that's worth anything is ever given. So today I'm looking to piggyback off of the conversation we had yesterday. And so we left off, I believe, on verse 28 of chapter 39 of the book of Isaiah. God has come upon the children of Israel and has told them that, well, reminded them that he's always with them. He's saying, all of y'all must have forgot. You've been in this cycle of transgression and change and all this stuff. You've gotten lost at the buffet table of the varied creations you sit before. You'll honor a rock, a pebble you go get from a river, before you'll honor me. Just to get a comfort met. Meanwhile, I'm right inside of you. In the book of Hosea, God is pleading with the children and saying, you're dragging me with you through all of your whoredoms. I hate that I created you. You're dragging me right. You're walking around in the spitting image of me. Dragging me through your varied whoredoms. While I was in the shower prepping for this podcast, I was thinking about how the opponents of God, the ones God is speaking to in the book of Isaiah chapter 39, the ones that use all of their ingenuity and all their cunning to devise ways of looking to replace the one that created them. They're looking to anything that they can do to avoid the hierarchical structure of God's system, to overcome it, to overtake it, to buck it, and put something else in its stead. Something that they create. Or if they don't create it, they rather align to it. They're rather aligned to anything else but what God has mandated. And it's a amazing thing as to why. Why wouldn't one just say, you know what? Let me just go on and give this up and get myself together. And instead of looking to siphon the blood, looking to siphon the blood of Jesus, looking to be a vampire and siphon the blood, maybe I should plead the blood. Maybe I should ask for mercy. Maybe I should humble myself. You never see that. It's as if that's never an option. It's as if they'd rather do away than to ever think to do that. Whether it's go run and hide somewhere or destroy a thing, they never think to realign and humble themselves to their God. And I wonder why. And it just came to me. The time. I was wondering why God brought this to my attention yesterday. I had lost my way in it. Maybe that's why the podcast ended. I was on the verge of speaking to Samaria. You see, in ancient times, Samaria was the birthplace. It was the originator of civilization, Samaria, the Sumerians. Those people that created language and linguistics and that expounded upon deep levels of mathematics. It was a whole world. This is historic stuff. This is old world stuff. Giants were walking the earth. And something happened in Samaria, Mesopotamia. There was a war. It doesn't say it in the Bible, but when you read all sorts of other literature about the planet and ancient stories, you'll find that it's very clear that there was a war, and it happened in Samaria, Mesopotamia. Seems as if that war was a war for placement. It was a war for dominance, permanency. They were fighting to keep dominance because there was an end of a cycle at hand. Passing of a baton. And they didn't want to give it up. Now, who they is, I could spend all day talking about that. Doesn't matter. And much occurred. They too would want to destroy. Many people say that Samaria was hit with a nuclear bomb. When you go through these different books and stories of what happened during this war, they had advanced technology like you wouldn't even believe. Science fiction movies don't even touch it to its core. It's just surface level stuff. Fragments of what the real stuff was. That's how heavy the reality of that was and what happened. This cyclic change occurs at the end of each era. And when I began thinking about this today, as to why don't they just change their mind? Why? Could it be we are approaching an end of an era? Could it? Could it be that we are in the same place that the Sumerians were in at a vast time before? Many thousands of years ago. It's an interesting topic. It really is. It's thought-provoking. But when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. God says in verse 28, Has thou not known? Have you not heard that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary? There is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to the faint, the weak. And to them that have no might, he increaseth strength. Friend, God will come upon you, and if he finds you worthy, because God will not work through an unclean vessel. It's not like God is desperate for people to work through. That is not it. It is that God doesn't care about the hang-ups that we have as people. Our interpretation of what strong is and what weak is not God's. And that's what he's saying in this scripture. He giveth power to the faint, to what you call faint, weak. To them that have no might, he increaseth strength. He doesn't need you to come fully equipped to man's standards to do his will. He needs you to come fully equipped with his standards. And what are his standards? You got to love, friend. And not fake love. And not selfish love. But really love. You got to love. You've got to love in a way that will make you look foolish to the world. Loving your enemy, having compassion against those that work against you, is love. Caring for them, having mercy on them, because you know what it feels like to be in certain situations. And you wouldn't want it for anybody, because you were strong enough to deal with it. And you know that they're probably not. Love. This is what God is speaking to. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. Oxymorons, contrasts. It ain't gonna come like what it is. It's going to come from a vessel you would never assume. And the vessel you would never assume, you're going to swear that it's a lie, a gimmick, a facade. Because based on your projections and the way you've been programmed to see the world, that's what most people are that look like that. But when aligned to love, real love, so closely that you allow it to direct your life, regardless to what it looks like, even though it may look some kind of way to you, it is not that. And you will spend all of your time digging a hole for yourself, trying to prove that it is not what it really is, and miss out on a vital opportunity of your lifetime. Could be the purpose of your existence. You will let pass you right on by. Because you're lost in the dream, the projection someone else established for you. a matrix of sorts, on top of the reality, nature. You're lost in the systems and the acquisitions of things and the competitions and the images and all of the sorts that don't mean nothing, that you were designed to dominate within. Even if you align to the philosophies, you were not ever designed to be a slave to them. You're no more than a paper tiger, propped up, that holds no power in it. The system does not bend to you. You bend to it. It is dominating you. You are not dominating it on any level. And you have no power behind you allowing you to dominate. And in that, you're boggled down with further debts and guilts because of the things you got to do just to move and what you want to project as power in a system in which you have no power. Because you're not connected to power. You're not. I saw this while I was in the shower. I wasn't even going to come on. I was going to say, you know what, I'm tired. I'm not going to come on. And then when I got in the shower, it just occurred to me. I saw the idea that I had for this conversation in a new light. I was just going to talk about Samaria and how Abram came out of Samaria, which I touched upon briefly yesterday. But it's deeper than that. When we think of why those entities that God himself created will not, or have not, let's just say have not, repented, come back home. We are at the end of an age, friend. Just like the Sumerians were. They were at the end of an age. Transition of power, out with the giants, in with mankind. And they're fighting for position. And no matter what they did, no matter what type of technology they used, no matter what type of ingenuity they thought they were going to pull from, even if they thought, okay, I'll destroy it. I'll destroy it. They did nothing but compile further debts upon their own head because they destroyed nothing that could not be brought back to life. Better and more blessed and abundant. It didn't stop anything. When we look in Revelation and we talk about, in Revelation, I believe it's chapter 21. I keep telling you, I don't know where I'm going with this, but this is on my spirit, y'all. I don't know. Revelation chapter 21 opens up. 21. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. This thing is going to look completely different. The end of an era. The end. A whole new world. Literally. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. and God himself shall be with them and be their God. We go from having middlemen listen to this. We finally get to a place where we go from having middleman back to our original creation and having one-on-one relationships with God, because we would have ascended to where we need to be in order to justify such. There will be no more hang-ups. There will be no more transgressive states that deem us unworthy because of our own thoughts. We will be able to manage our own selves in accordance to that which we were created. There will be no more double-mindedness. There will be no more contradictions. We will look in the mirror and be known. We will see and know. Not having to squint, use the imagination and our senses to form a thought or image of what is trying to show itself to us, but to be able to just look directly at it and see it for what it is. There will be no more mystery. Nothing will be hidden. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Friend, I spoke to the Egyptians and them mummifying themselves, and how they would do so, in my opinion, because they were looking to stop the reincarnation process, because that's how this program is in this matrix. When the body decomposes, it immediately, the soul, the spirit immediately goes into a regurgitated cycle back into the creation process. And even though you can slow down the swing of the pendulum, because that's basically what they're doing. They're slowing down what would naturally progress through ingenuity. They're just backing it all up. They're elongating their stay in a realm, backing up and accruing energies and karmas for manipulating such natural rules and laws. Everything you got to pay a price for everything in this thing. Everything. Yet God says for those that ascend, God commands that there is no more transgressive states, death. It's just transitions, coming and going. You bypass that naturally, without any karma, without any negation, without any hiccups, without having to manipulate and deviate from the traps one may fall in doing such. Because in doing such, now you're at the pity of the master that created such a back door. You're not depending on God. You're depending on men. Faulty technology. Friend. Faulty. And he said that sat upon the throne, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, write, for these words are true and faithful. Friend, he's saying, is no error in this? Isaiah is saying in chapter 28, God is saying, hast thou not known, hast thou not heard? That the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary. There is no searching of his understanding. Friend, there is no error. Listen. Yea, they shall not be planted. Yea, they shall not be sown. Yea, their stock shall not take root in the earth, and he shall also bow upon them, and they shall wither, and the whirlwind shall take them away as stubble. That's not what I was trying to get to. This is it. Verse 26. Lift up your eyes on high, and behold, who hath created these things? Friend, you better go deep. You need to spend some time in meditation. You need to think it through. Riddle me this. Ponder this. Ponder who hath created these things, that bringeth out their hosts by number. All is accounted for. Everything is organized and thought through. There is no happenstance. Line by line by line. Order over chaos. Friend. He called them all by names, by the greatness of his might. That in itself is brilliant. He calleth them all by names, by the greatness of his might. For he is strong in power. Not one. Not one faileth. This is interesting, because when we speak to Satan, one would consider him failing. One would consider him having turned his back, deviated from the program. But did he truly do that? Did he? I'm willing to say it was accounted for. It was a variable imposed in a monumental if formula. If this happens, do that. If that happens, do this. This is what God is saying here. He has accounted for everything going on in here. Anything that could ever happen. There's not a variable it has not been accounted for. There is not one degree of a thing that can go rogue on its own. You can't even think of it. You're bound to the Creator's constraints regarding your thought processes. Even if you wanted to, you wouldn't be able to formulate the thought. Even if you go and you reach further into some other vast solar system and you open up a black hole and let something else in, they are bound to it too. Friend, all has been foreseen. Every variable has been planned out. Every single variable has been planned out over the billions and billions and trillions of variables. Every avenue has been crafted out. Do you understand how monumental this is? This is the God that created you. And you mean to tell me you're a God? Come on, friend. Come on. You got God potential. You got it. The potential is there. Have you tapped in? Or are you just stuck at the feeling of knowing that you have it within you? Because if you've tapped in, it should be actualized in you. You'll never say, I'm a God. You would never say that. You would see it as elementary. Futile to say. Why do I need to say that? I'm too busy being. To say such things means that I've got too much time on my hands. Ego is creeping in. Leisure stuff. I'm too busy being, friend. I don't have time to get lost in that. And even for someone that has ascended or is in the process of ascending, because you never reach it, but if you're in the process of ascending, when those feelings come upon you that want to stand in that and bask in the sunlight of that, an alarm goes off in your mind saying, I need to get back to what I'm doing. I got too much time on my hands. You see the cost that comes with such. The price, the way that even thinking in that level, on that level, opens you up to lower level energies. Friend, you're too busy getting after it in whatever capacity you see fit. It's not for other people to understand. It's for you to know. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Friend, I'm telling you, they shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. There is no limit, no end to the resources they need to do whatever it is they desire to do. all will be provided to them that wait. Not wait in inactivity, but those that keep the faith. And the faith is fed by knowing. You see, this faith that is needed to do such things, to wait, is not knowing yet, in a sense. Because we have not reached to the 21st chapter. This is where it turns into your knowing. This is where you could testify of all it took to get here. So while in Isaiah, God is speaking that you are still in faith posture, yet you're knowing through the little things, through what it takes for you to consistently maintain your integrity, to maintain your level of alignment that keeps you worthy of the power and the promise while you wait, is what feeds the faith. Friend, you're knowing of the little things by paying attention and staying active and allowing God to lead you. Feed your faith of the larger goal. This is my word for you today, y'all. Always looking to do my part. That's it. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Be good to yourselves. I'll be in Lamert tomorrow. Come join me. I'd love to hear from you. Be good to yourselves and be good to one another. Peace and love.